Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. Today we are going to talk about the difference between the reconciliation bill and the infrastructure bill that was just recently passed, in fact yesterday. There are a lot of questions about whether the bill that was just passed had any immigration content in it and what is in the upcoming budget bill. I'll also talk about some of the common questions regarding the job change during your adjustment of status. So if you're interested in this topic, watch this video until the end and let's get started. If you are here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration related videos for US and Canada. I'm not an immigration lawyer, so anything that I say on this video or on my channel is for information purpose only. And for your specific immigration needs, before you take any action, you should hire a competent immigration lawyer. So sorry I wasn't able to make any video in the last few days because I wasn't feeling very well and I did not want to come up and show my sick face in front of you. So pardon me for that. But I'm feeling better now, so I thought I will make a video on all the pending questions that I had in my inbox and on the channel. So one of the first question is, on Friday we saw the House passed the bipartisan infrastructure bill in the House. So this bill was already passed in the Senate about 2 or 3 months back in August. So now what this bill has to do is, it is about $1.2 trillion and it has all the infrastructure related cost to it. So basically building roads, bridges, the aging infrastructure, also making the electric outlets throughout the nation for the electric cars to be charged just like gas stations. And there are a lot of provisions for environmental projects as well. So this is a very expansive infrastructure bill that has been passed and it has a big budget in it. So this is a bipartisan bill. What it means is it is supported by both Democrats and the Republicans. So all but 5 or 6 Democrats supported it, and almost I think 15 or 16 Republicans also supported this bill. So that was passed in the House on Friday. Now this bill was being held hostage because the Congress actually wanted to pass this bill along with the another budget reconciliation bill that the Biden administration has. Now this budget reconciliation bill is what is not yet approved, and this is the bill that has immigration clauses in it. Remember, I made all those videos about the plan A, plan B and plan C. Those were all about the budget reconciliation bill. The reason budget reconciliation bill is a little bit controversial than the infrastructure bill is because it has a lot of provisions that a lot of people have problem with. The first point is it was a very large bill, about $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation bill. So this is a very high number. So a lot of the centrist Democrats have a problem with it. So now it is tailored down to almost $1.7 trillion. A lot of provisions were removed and now a lot of provisions are being put back. So it went through the plan A, which was rejected by the Senate parliamentarian. Then it went through the plan B that was also rejected, and now there is a plan C that is being presented to the Senate. But in the House, this bill is also having a lot of challenges in terms of the centrist Democrats versus the far left Democrats. So there is not a consensus within even the Democratic Party how and what should be included in this bill. Now, the immigration provisions were not part of the infrastructure bill. So sorry to say that, but a lot of people got excited on Friday that this bill was passed, the infrastructure bill was passed, and that means that the immigration provisions that we outlined in the previous video were also passed. That is not the case. Those were not part of the infrastructure bill. Those are part of the reconciliation bill or budget bill in other words, and that this bill is not yet passed by even Senate or the Congress. So they differ on what should be included in this bill, and that has a little bit of a longer ways to go. We'll see what the final version holds, but it is speculated that these immigration provisions, even if they are passed in the House, they may not be passed in the Senate because the Senate parliamentarian will probably reject it again. Now with the reconciliation bill, you still only need 50 votes and Democrats have those 50 votes. But even within the Democratic Party, there are certain senators in Senate, those are opposed to these some of the provisions in the budget reconciliation bill, and Senate parliamentarian in particular will not allow any immigration provisions to be part of this budget reconciliation bill. Now, even whether or not the parliamentarian gets overruled, which is possible, remains to be seen. So even if this budget bill gets passed in the House, it doesn't mean that it will get passed in the similar version in the Senate. And if Senate changes the language, then it has, before passing it, then it has to come back to the House with the similar or same version to be passed in the House again. So it may go back and forth a little bit, and before we see a final version getting passed. Mind you that this reconciliation bills usually get passed, but the problem is what gets dropped out of it in the final version, and if immigration is something that gets dropped out of it remains to be seen. So I'll be cautiously optimistic about this budget reconciliation bill. Even if it passes, how much of the immigration provisions will remain in the final version is not known at this point of time. And just to recap, there are a couple of immigration provisions that I just wanted to remind you that some of the people who came before 2011, but all of them will get amnesty, in the sense that even if they were undocumented, they will get the parole for next 5 years to stay in the country. So basically they will not be deported. For the EB category, what it means is all the visa numbers that were unused since 1992 will be recaptured and will be made immediately available. So those could be hundreds of thousands of visa numbers. So this would be a big positive impact to EB category. Another provision is, if you have been waiting on your immigrant petition for longer than 2 years, you might be exempt from the cap, or you might be exempt from the yearly limits, and that way you could just apply for 485 and get your green card. That is another provision by paying $5,000. So this is also going to be a big positive for EB category. And also one of the other things was, there is a provision that the dependents and children will not be counted against the visa numbers. So that means more visa numbers will be available for primary applicants, so that way more families will get the green card. So that is also something that is positive in this bill. So these are some of the highlight provisions that I just wanted to mention. These are all part of the current version of budget reconciliation bill in the House bill. So remember, House bill and Senate bills are different. So now even if the House passes this bill, it has to go in its current form to Senate, and Senate will have to pass it as well. Now there are a lot of challenges in the Senate regarding this immigration provision. So if they remove something from the Senate version and pass it, then it will have to come back to the House to be passed again. So there are a lot of provisions that differ between the Senate version and the House version. So let's see what happens. The keyword being cautiously optimistic. So don't be too optimistic, but be cautious. Remain vigilant regarding what's happening. Be in the know, but don't get too excited about what might get passed. I will leave you with that note. So let's look at some of the common questions that I have been getting, and one of those are regarding the job changes. So somebody asked me that if I am in the adjustment of status, and if I have my EAD, can I stop working for few days or few months? That is perfectly fine. You don't have to work when you are on EAD or in the adjustment of status. It doesn't grant you your status is not dependent on your employment, but remember, you need to have that bona fide job offer at the time of decision making on your green card. So when the visa officer is going to make that decision whether to give you approve you a green card or not, that will be based on a valid job offer, which is basically the same as what was mentioned in your I-140. So and then your intent to pick up that job offer and work for that company once you get a green card. That intent is important, and that presence of that job offer, valid job offer, is important. So if you have those things covered, you don't have to work in between while you are on adjustment of status. Mind you, if you are on H1B or L1, even while you are on adjustment of status, and if you stop working, then your non-immigrant visa such as H1 or L1, that goes away. That does not remain valid if you stop working, but you will still be in the status, so you don't have to worry about your green card process in particular. And then last thing I wanted to mention is there are a lot of people who reach out to me saying that there are a lot of other channels that are copying my content as it is. These channels are typically from the South Asian countries like India, China, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and so on and so forth. Nothing wrong in it. I don't mind people copying my content. I actually feel honored that they feel my content is so valid and important that they feel like copying it. The problem I have with the copies that I'm seeing are so badly made, so they copy as it is without knowing what they're talking about. So these people who are sitting far away on the other side of the world, they have no clue about American immigration system, and they don't have any answers or they don't have any knowledge of that. So whatever they say sometimes does not even make sense to it. So I would only caution what you are watching on the internet. If you have to believe in that, and you have to make sure that you are watching the content that is accurate and that is that gives you the right information. So I just wanted to caution you about all of those channels. If they are copying me, there is nothing wrong with it. Let them copy, but I would caution you on the content. If you are taking any action based on that content, then I'll warn you about that. So be careful what you watch, and be sure to hire an immigration lawyer before you take any action on your case. So with that said, I will just stop here. If you like the content of this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.